All right, everybody, welcome back to On Brand. I am your host, Melissa Dlugolecki, and we have an amazing, incredibly valuable guest today, my good friend. I'm sure many of you have seen his content on social media, but you're going to get a peek at some of the behind the scenes and getting to where you are now. Please join me in welcoming Daniel G.
And I just forgot as you were doing this, we did an event together in Tulum.
We did.
Your event.
We
I totally
did.
forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You spoke
that
at
was
my
like
event.
the best event probably Tulum's ever had.
Hands
like
down.
the most valuable. I just thought of that actually right now that you held that event in Tulum. That's not that easy to do. And it was packed out.
Yeah, we
And
sold
there's
out.
so many good speakers, me, you, Gerard, Eric.
Yeah.
That was such a good event.
Thank you.
That was a good freaking event. Now that I thought of it, I'm like, because I'm so used to doing these massive events filled of like 2,000-3,000 people, which would be physically impossible to do in Tulum. Then you got all these people in Tulum just floating and levitating. So like, it like people don't understand how hard it is just to pack out a room in a normal city. In a normal city, like we're just saying Kentucky, Florida, and then you go somewhere where Tulum everybody's levitating. That's not an easy job to pack out a room.
No.
So yeah, that was fun. That was really fun.
It's funny, I always say, just to add on to that, when people in Tulum, like, you can't get people to commit to something because the answer will be, well, I just have to see what
when the
feels like
time's right.
aligned in
Yeah,
my
in the
body
stars,
when I get up. Like, I got to see how it feels aligned.
Yeah.
And you're like,
Yeah.
okay.
Is it a yes or a no?
Yeah.
They don't even give you a maybe.
Are you going to build your business on that?
Yes.
Like, how do I wake up feeling aligned?
Are you
every
ready to
day?
get started? They won't even give you a maybe. I need to think about it.
Yeah.
There should be a whole thing about Tulum objections.
Oh my gosh, we could riff on that. 100%.
Imagine Tulum objections. So are you ready to get started? I don't think the divine timing right now is calling. It just has to be, spiritually aligned with what time of the month where's the stars? Oh, here we go, the stars.
Oh my gosh, I literally had somebody who I was coaching in their business, and I pretty much stopped taking Tulum clients because it was just, I am very rigorous. It's why I think you and I get along very well. We're very consistent, we're very rigorous, like you show up.
Yeah.
I don't care how you feel, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's actually, to talk about brand, that's part of both of our brand. But I had a client who was very in scarcity because they were broke, gave an action plan, checked in on it, and they said, oh, my soul felt called to the beach today. And I'm like, is your soul gonna pay your bills, buddy? So speaking of brand, Daniel, a lot of people, if they have seen you on social media or they've seen you at live events, because you train globally, and you have built such a powerful brand as a master sales trainer in the world. But I've known you for 7 years, but your story goes back even further than that.
Yes.
So somebody listening who maybe sees this massive gap between where they are and where you are, right? Or maybe somewhere in between. Can you take them through a little bit what it looks like to build a brand? Like, it doesn't necessarily mean you have a videographer or shooter Steve following you around every day,
for sure.
right?
For sure, yeah. I mean, the first thing was like I had to get very clear on like who I was and who I wanted to attract within, because people know I'm in sales, but you could be like, oh, I'm going to be a sales trainer, and then you start putting out sales content, and then you're a little bit loud like myself, and then people don't like it. So you're like, I'm going to stop doing branding. So the reason why I kept going with my brand is I was super crystal clear on like, okay, I want to attract people that want to make millions in sales and not people that just want to make 2,000. I'm not going to speak to that person. So those people aren't going to like me, and I'm already okay with that because I was crystal clear on who I was going to serve even within the sales space. I'm like, this is the persona of the individual. Not just like, some people are like, okay, what niche? I'm like, do you even know the persona of the individual that should be listening to you?
Right.
Because if not, you're going to try to please the whole crowd. And you are going to go insane trying to build a brand, trying to make everybody happy. It's just never going to work. It's like building a business. So I was criticized in the beginning for having such high energy. But then I said, okay, well, I'm going to serve the people that either like high energy or want high energy. And that's all I focused on. I'm like, today I got on camera, I'm going to serve somebody that likes high energy people or wants high energy. I'm going to mix obviously in sales skills to it. But I mean, I knew, the first thing was I knew who I served. And it took me about like 1.5 to 2 years to really like just be comfortable with being me on my brand and be like, hey, this is who you're going to serve. You're never going to have unanimous love. So you're going to show up every single day. There's never going to be unanimous love. We have to realize the biggest people inside of the world will get more hate than the average person. Like, that is just it. The president of the country is going to receive more hate.
Right.
They're always going to be the most loved and the most hated, the bigger you build, right? So taking it back, I started my brand. I mean, it's interesting because I was really on camera since I was like 14, 7, sorry. 14,
Really?
like, yeah, I started doing more on camera. But 7 or 8, I started my own, series on camera.
Stop it.
Yeah. And then when I was 10, 9 or 10, I started my first YouTube series.
Really?
Yeah, like people don't even know this. Like I'm not gonna even mention.
Yeah, can we go
names.
find that?
No, you won't even be able to find it, but it's there. But you'll never be able to find
I
it,
gotta get
except
someone
for
on
like
this.
one person in my life, right? Unless somebody like chokes Steve and threatens Steve, but I don't even know if Steve can find it. But so I started going on YouTube just because I started to realize. Here's such a good lesson, actually. I've never even talked about this. I'm DJing. I started off as a DJ at 10 years old, right? I took an old DJ set of turntables and I figured out how to mix 2 turntables. I'm like, okay, I might be good at this DJing thing. So I saved up money and I bought a DJ set, or I took a loan from my dad or my mother of like $50 or $100, and I bought these 2 turntables and started DJing. So I started DJing for like my family in my bedroom, and then I go to school, and then I'm like, hey, can I DJ at like the church choir or whatever? So I started doing DJing, and then I actually get good. Like I'm starting to get decent. Like 11, 12, I'm actually starting to learn how to mix 2 beats in one. I'm starting to understand BPMs. I'm actually starting to learn how to DJ good. By 12, I'm DJing like crazy. It's like my dream. Yeah, so I was playing soccer and I was DJing. And then I'm thinking, I started to ask my teachers, I'm like, can I DJ the school dances? No, like you can't do them. We already hired some guy. Can I DJ the prom? No. I'm like, oh man, this sucks. And then I start to realize, I'm like, okay, if I can't DJ for the war market, how about YouTube? So I started to go on YouTube, and I'm like, holy geez, 70 people just viewed me DJing today. And to me, that's like where everything for me comes in now, because I'm like, forget your war market. Your war market doesn't even trust you. They didn't let me DJ my own prom. And then that's how it started, because I'm like, wow, 70 people watch me DJing. I'm like, all right, let's do DJing. Tomorrow, let's do a prank video. Tomorrow, let's do a soccer video. Because I'm like, so many eyeballs that I've never had. I'm like, this is so powerful. I'm thinking of this when I'm like 12. Then the shift was, it wasn't paying me, obviously, YouTube at the time. So I got into sales when I was 14. I started to become really good at sales. I started to build up a great sales career. And at 21, the thought that I'm telling you right now, 22, 23, after 10 years of doing sales, the thing that I'm telling you right now started to hit to me. I'm like, this is so boring. Nobody knows how good I am at this. I'm like, I want to show the world I killed the sales game in the last 8 years. I've never stuck with something for 8 years. It was always like soccer, magic, DJing, being a clown. I've done everything on YouTube, everything. I'm like, nobody knows how good I am at this sales thing, and I'm great. So I'm like, let me start filming it. So I go on, I'm like, I start seeing these apps, Meerkat, Periscope, Snapchat, these first live streaming apps. And I started live streaming on Periscope and Meerkat, and then Instagram Live and Facebook Lives, free sales training, just like I would do on YouTube for DJing. And people would listen to me. Like there would be like 20 people online, 10 people online. And the beautiful thing about my brand was that I still had a job that was supporting me simultaneously while I could build my brand in sales. So I was doing it out of just like with no scarcity that I had to make money, because I still had a vehicle producing me money, right? So like if somebody's watching this right now and they're like, well, I don't want to start because I have nobody watching me. I'm like, well, number one, that's the best time to practice when nobody's watching. Like that is the best time to practice. It's like you don't actually want to fuck up now in my position. One bad thing I say, maybe it can be ripped apart. Or like, I just look dumb if 1,000 people now are laughing at me on a live stream.
Right.
It's nice to practice when nobody's watching. So, and that's what I was doing really. There was only like 5 people watching my social media. And then, so I started building out a brand, and I didn't have the intentions of making money in it first. I was really just saying like, oh, I wish there was a kid watching me, and figured out how great this sales career was. And my formula was I just gave everything away for free. So I do all my sales training on Instagram Lives and Facebook Lives for free. And people started picking it up, and then somebody said, can you do an event? And I just started to roll from there. Like I've been doing live streams till today for 7, 8 years straight. Wow. I've never taken a day off of a live stream. And that was just my thing. I liked live streams because I felt like it's so engaging for people. Like they're like, wow, I'm with this individual. Right. And I said, people are bored. So how do I just become the media outlet? Because nobody watches TV anymore.
No.
So I'm like, and TV hated me. Like, especially when I got in this game, I got on my first television show and they said, hey, you'll never be back in the studio. I said, why? They said, it's just like really wasn't our style. And I understood it. And I said, okay, instead of trying to get a media outlet, why don't I just become the media outlet?
Become it.
Yeah, it's you know?
That is so, I can't believe I've never known that about you.
Yeah.
Magic tricks.
Yeah, I would
Your
do
best
magic tricks.
friend.
I was a clown.
It's
Yeah.
wild
I was
to
a
me.
serious magician.
Did you have a DJ name?
Yeah, 2. My first DJ name was called, do you know what a Guido is?
Yes.
You know what a Guido is?
Yeah. It's like a nickname for Italian.
Italian,
right?
like Italian cool guy, right?
Yeah.
Like the Guido with the spiky hair. So you remember Jersey Shore, of course.
Of course.
Okay. Because I talk to the young kids, they're like, what's that? Right? I'm like, dude, this is legendary.
We lived for
yeah,
Jersey
yeah,
Shore.
Exactly. So I was Pauly D.
Oh, yes.
I was him.
Yes.
No. I need to pull up a picture. I was Pauly D, spiked hair, blowout. Every spike was perfect. Tanned, couldn't like, it's just picture perfect tight shirts, DJ. And my first name when I got into the market, I was like 14. My name was DJ Gui. So think of a Guido, but it was GW. So Guido is spelled Guido.
Yep.
My name was GWEE, so Gui, and Dough spelled like the Pillsbury Doughboy.
Doughboy, like Doughh.
Yep. With a dope boy holding a record.
I'm so getting you a soccer jersey with
Yeah,
that.
Guido. If you go into my city, people don't say, yo, what up, Daniel? I swear people say, yo, Guido.
Stop it.
Yo, Guido. If I'm in the mall, now, if somebody sees me in the mall and they're from like a high school, it happened like this Christmas. Somebody's like, Guido. And right away I turned around. That was how I was known. I used to go to high schools and DJ in high schools. Like I was pretty well known in just my little small city. I went to every single high school and DJed inside of high schools. I was DJ Guido. And then I became a little bit more mature when I was like 17. Yeah. That was like my DJ's high school name. And then it just became like DNG. DNG. That was like my producer name because I'm like, no, I'm gonna be a producer and do these big festivals, etc. But I would have too. Like I was actually like my trajectory of my people don't know this, even of my music career, I was doing extraordinarily well. Like again, I never talk about this, but at 18, not only am I producing music, I DJ'd at every single nightclub inside of Toronto, Canada.
Wow.
Yes, and I was underage doing that, like 16, 17, 18 with big DJs.
Wild.
We're talking about like Hardwell, Steve Aoki. I had to open up for these guys. And just because I was good at sales, I knew how to get my foot in the door and be like, hey, let me do the opening set,
Right.
The thing that I love, that I tell people inside of business, I'm like, this is why business and marketing is so cool, that like, you could even be the 3rd best DJ in town, but you don't make money. But if you're the 3rd best brander, marketer,
100%.
sales company, you make so much money.
100%.
I quit because I'm like, there's no money in this right now, and I gotta pay bills, and I'm dropping out of university. That's why I quit DJing in soccer, right? But I always knew, getting back, I always knew I wanted to be in some sort of entertainment. And what people don't understand by social media today, because it's on branding, that the perfect flow of social media is balancing, in our area, entertaining
100%.
and educating.
100%.
I always wanted to like somehow captivate the audience attention.
100%.
I just didn't want to be a sales trainer. I'm like, okay, how am I going to entertain these people? What am I going to do to have fun with these people, right? And people are like weirded out by first, but I'm like, no, people are bored. You need to entertain people. People want to be entertained.
Yeah, they start to tune it out. Right?
Right.
And they don't want to feel like they're just being lectured to. You said a lot of really powerful things, I think, related to brand and marketing and business in general in there. And I think, I'm going to try and remember all of them, but we'll just flow. But one of the things you said in the beginning was how your warm market will overlook you or almost take you for granted. And like, God, what a life lesson that is.
Yes.
Right? And a lot of times people wait to put things out there until they feel more validated. And they're seeking for validation, giving away their power, essentially, into a warm market that's never going to provide it, rather than just putting it out there and building their own stage, building their own audience. And so
it's so much harder to convince the warm market because they judge you for who you were last year.
Right.
Last week.
Right.
So like, that's Daniel G. Say if I go be like, I'm a sales trainer now. That's Daniel G, the soccer player.
Totally.
Do you know, like, I will go home, Melissa, I think I made this joke to you once. Like, yeah, I did. Well, I'm like, I will go home now. And people will be like, so like, what's up with like the sales training thing you're still doing? I'm like, motherfucker, I just did a world tour. The fuck you talking about? I just did like 100 stages filled to 5,000 to 10,000 people, and you're still asking me what about that thing? Like, because that's my warm network.
100%.
My warm network, I'm gonna go home and they're gonna be like, hey man, do you want to go get some beers to go to the club to go pick up women? I'm like, motherfucker, I have 5 million followers. You think I need to pick up women?
Yeah.
Where are you? And I tell my audience this because I'm like, guys,
Yeah.
you will never, your warm market will always look at who you were for the last 5 to 10 years. So they'll have the highest judgment towards you. It's harder to convince them. It's like you're selling uphill when all you got to do is figure out your brand, figure out where your people are, and sell downhill.
Oh my gosh.
Like just sell with the stream. It's like,
Yes.
you know what I feel like it is? Sometimes when you go after your warm market, of course you have the highest rapport with them because you have the highest relationship, so they'll answer you right away. They'll respond to your message on Instagram right away because that's your friend. So that's why we're told message your friends, promote your friends, blah, blah. The problem is your friend might not be your ideal customer.
100%.
And what I tell people is that I'm like, imagine like you have like a health shake, right? And I'm like, you might be convincing Bob, your uncle, to buy your health shake that is not into fitness at all. And he drinks Coke for his whole life. He might be a good customer for you one day, yes. And you love him and you're trying to change his life, yes. But there's another girl, Nancy, that's already on health shakes that would love something that doesn't have toxins and chemicals in it. And you just sell downhill with the stream against the stream. So you just go where your audience is. Like,
100%.
you know, like that's why I always say, I'm like, your audience that you're scared about. Like most people actually don't start a brand, not because of what strangers think. It's about what their 2 closest friends think about them.
Right. 100%. Or what they're passionate about.
Correct.
And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes I see is that people make it about them versus like what serves.
Right.
You know, like what they're interested in. And that could change on like a daily basis, you know?
Right.
And so it's like when you're building a brand and you're building presence, so much comes down to trust and how people experience you. And if you're constantly like pivoting and doing all these different things, it's gonna be very hard to trust your brand. And I feel like so many people don't actually market test. To your point of like going with the stream, like they don't even look at the stream.
Yeah.
They just look at where they want to go and they wonder why it's so hard. But if you just market test and get out there and get clear on what people like, as long as it's authentic, like I'm not going to go out there and put out some divine manifestation abundance thing just because it's popular. It's not me.
Sure.
Right? But I just think people make it harder than they have to.
Yeah, I think sometimes it's like, it might not even be because it doesn't have to be, people make millions and they're not passionate about selling chairs, but there's a guy that made $1 million off selling these chairs. If you ask him, are you passionate about this? He's like, no, man, I found a need and I just knew how to promote, market, and brand it and solve the problem. Like money is exchanged from one hand to another hand when a problem is solved, I always say. So I think it's more so of like, what do you think you could be good at talking about? Like, where do you feel like you'll be a fountain and what do you think drains you? That's the differentiation. Like, when you're making content, can you talk about it? Like, can you pour into it? That's a fountain. That's a good concept. If you feel like you get drained when you make your content, then that might not be, you don't have to be passionate about it, but that might not be your content. Like, but if you feel like you could talk about it, but you're not passionate about it, but you could talk about it, like you could pour into the subject. Like people think I was passionate about sales. I try to tell people I was not passionate about sales. Majority of the days I'm not. Right. People are like, what? I'm like, I'm fucking good at it.
Yeah.
People are like, wait, what do you mean? I'm like, yeah, see, if you went off passion, you're going off your feelings. And your feelings, you got to decide if you show up or not, right? It's like, I'm good at fucking sales training. And I know that. I'm like, I just looked at people, I'm like, oh, I can articulate that message better. Fuck, now because I'm good, I have to do it.
Right.
That's it. That was like, I grew up in sales and I was not passionate about sales. Then I watched these sales trainers. I'm like, wow, he sucks. Yeah. I'm like, he's so bad at communicating to this crowd. I'm like, 5 years, I'm sitting down. I'm like, I'm too young. I'm like 18 reading these books. I'm like, too young. Don't shut your mouth and keep selling, Daniel. I'm like, okay, but this guy sucks. I want to get online. I want to train it. You're too young. And then finally, I just said, fuck it. I'm like, dude, I don't like this guy. The way that I'm not even passionate about it. I just feel like I can do a little bit better. I feel like there's a market that would want to hear me. See, I wasn't passionate about it. I was passionate about DJing and soccer. That's how I opened it up. Right. I opened up the pod saying, hey, I'm passionate about DJing and soccer. Right. Or whatever the case is. Right. I am not a DJ player. Right. You know what I mean?
I always say that, like, I'm super passionate about charcuterie boards.
Right.
Fucking love them. Yes. I will make the meanest charcuterie board. Oh, you have no idea. I will make them, like, I will take
You're
basically.
Being serious?
Oh, I'm being dead serious.
Okay.
Like, any of like
That's
my inner circle would be like, oh yeah, no, absolutely. People send me charcuterie board content on social media, like my friends all the time.
Wow.
So I'll take like an entire tabletop
Wow.
and like parchment paper. It's not even a tray.
You better not talk shit, Melissa, because our next Tulum retreat, you're doing this.
Oh no, 100%. I'll do it for I'll freaking build one in here for the Miami event.
Dope. Okay.
Yes, so it's my thing, but I always use that as a teaching example. Like one, I don't want to get into overhead costs. So yes, there's that.
Right.
But two, like it doesn't really solve a problem. Right? It's sure it's nice to have or whatever, but like am I gonna go into the charcuterie business because I'm passionate about it? No.
Right.
I also think there's something really valuable when you keep your passion separate from business.
Yes.
Like they're almost a little bit more sacred.
Right.
Right, because like you're almost reserving this private time, this separate like, you know, not that I feel like either of us really work or live. Like to me, work is just creation. I don't even call it work.
Yes. But, it's like one.
Yeah, but those like if I do something that
I do agree with you on that.
You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah, it's like sometimes you're like, yeah, like when I play soccer, or I'll go like people don't know this, but like when I'm done an event, I'll go DJ at a club in like Europe. Yeah. Like we're in different countries, I'll be like, yo, can I DJ for an hour?
Steve, we gotta get footage on this.
And then my passion like kicks in. Steve's been with me. I've DJed at least in like 5 clubs with Steve in Europe. And it's cool because you could separate business.
Right.
And then people see me and they're like, oh, you just don't do sales? And I'm like, yes, I have a life, like, you know?
Yeah.
But it was like my obligation just to show up every single day and do my, you know, the way I see it, it's like the problem with this, I just had a conversation with somebody with branding and somebody said like, well, man, how do I feel motivated to do it every single day? I'm like, well, how about if it just had to be done part of your like daily method of operations and it was the most important task of your business, like it had to be done. Like the problem with branding with most people, it's optional. Right. So like, how about if it just wasn't optional? It's like most core component of your business was just your personal brand, at least an hour 100%. To 2 hours a day, right? I'm like, the problem is that you don't treat it like a core demanding thing inside of work. Right. And most people that screw up in entrepreneurship, they have less discipline than they have at their part-time job. Their part-time job, they have more discipline. Like most people will show up to their part-time job with more anxiety than they'll show up to their business. They'll be like, fuck, if I miss this shift, I'll be fired on the 3rd one. And then you get into entrepreneurship and you miss 3 days of not doing shit all. Right. That's crazy.
100%.
It's like, so, and I'm the guy that gets asked the questions 24/7 where it's like, well, how do you stay motivated? And I said, well, who the fuck motivated you to serve? Right. You got up and you went to go serve. Right. Like you didn't need to go play a podcast to go serve with a smile on your face. Right. You just got up, you went to go serve because you needed to make money. 100%. The customer needed a server, you went to go serve. Even though 3 people told you, F off, I don't want your dessert, you didn't go in the back and say, I'm not motivated to go ask the next table for dessert. You went to the next table, you asked them for dessert, you showed up, you just did it like a job. Like I say, the problem with entrepreneurship and branding now is that because it's optional, because you don't have to do it for one day and it doesn't affect you that day, but it affects you 6 months down the road, you don't treat it like work. But majority of the time, because we're programmed to be workers, in the beginning stage, you might have to program yourself to just be like, it's work. That's all it is. Just treat it like a job and you will show up. You know, like 100%. There was no, you know, we have such good vehicles with such low respect. That's the way I see it sometimes. Meaning like our vehicle is insane the way we can make money. 100%. I'm doing a podcast with you. We could clip this. We can make posts. It could be attraction marketing. Somebody can like it. We can go make money. Our grandparents wish they had something like this. 100%. So our vehicle is such a blessing that the highest form of gratitude towards this vehicle is to work the vehicle.
And show the fuck up.
Yeah, show up.
Yeah.
You can go pray under the stars and be like, God, I'm so grateful for this opportunity. Or you could say, hold up. Let me go show you I'm grateful by showing up. You can go journal and say your gratitude, which we all do. Everybody journals. But I'm like, that is completely useless if you don't show up to your business because the highest form of your expression is by actually showing up
100%.
Of your gratitude, right? So yeah, I just think like, you know, nobody had to motivate our grandparents to go do the farm. They just did it.
100%. And I also think that why would your business give you any more if you're not grateful for what it already gives you? Right. Think about being in a relationship where someone's constantly like, you're not enough, you're not enough, you're not enough. What do? You shut down. People don't understand that like your business is just an energetic function too. If you show up to your business and you're like, you're not enough, you're not giving me enough, this isn't enough, this is stressful, this is overwhelming, your business is gonna respond the same way. Like, I don't really care, you know? Correct. And I think something about brand that's really powerful is that I think that understanding brand is exploding right now, right? I mean, everywhere I turn, everyone's talking about brand. I think it's widely misunderstood. It's not a freaking Canva color palette, right? It's not a certain font. Sure, all of those things can contribute to the makeup of your brand, but your brand is an experience.
Yes.
And I actually think the reason you and I reconnected is because of your brand. Because we had met, I don't know, 7 years ago, and then kind of both doing our
2018.
2018.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And kind of, you know, both doing our thing. I went in a different direction. You know, you went in a different direction from where we were at that time. But for me, I was an athletic director. So going back to, and I think there's so many things I want to unpack here, but going back to what you're saying, and that people don't see you from what you were. Oh, you're just this, right? When I first started getting into this space, like, she's an athletic director. But that innate part of me, I bring into my business, into entrepreneurship. I love rigor.
Right.
Bill Belichick, Patriots former coach, hero. Kobe Bryant, hero. Like, that's what I love. But your brand embodies that work ethic, no bullshit, like, take your emotion out of this, show up, which is what drew me back to you.
Right, because experience is what you're saying.
Yeah, because of how I experienced you. And then I saw you on Instagram Live, talk about the power of social media. And that's just how we like reconnected.
Yes.
But it's because you've built your brand not just to be, you know, a font.
Correct.
It's how you show up.
I tell people that 24/7 when they're stuck on like the small things, and I'm like, whoa. It's you. Like, this is called a personal brand.
Yeah.
This is you. And, you know, finding your voice, you know, I want to give people the stroke of confidence here that you will find your voice.
Yeah.
Meaning you will not sound the same like you did 2 years ago. I sound different than I did 2 years ago. I'm much more refined. I'm much more polished. My message is a lot easier, and it's a lot more in flow because I find my voice as I do more voice, as I do more video. If you go watch like an artist, and you go look, let's say one of my favorite artists, Drake. If you go look at Drake 10 years ago, he sounds completely different. He was a man 10 years ago. It's not that he didn't have puberty. He was already probably 25.
Right.
But the way he's flowing, rapping, his voice,
100%.
the tonality, the inflections, you find it all.
100%.
Right? So it's like, you got to do enough to find your voice. You got to do enough. And I'm like, and there came to a point where like, I found it.
Yes.
Like, I knew when I found my voice. It was just recently, like it was 2 years back. Yeah. I'm like, I found it. I know what it is now. I've hit on it. I know it captures people. I'm confident about it, but I had to do a lot of, meaning like a lot of voice, a lot of video, etc. But I love that you said it's an experience because that's all it is. People make associations.
100%.
That's a brand. Yeah. That's what a brand is.
And I'd say I just found mine like a year ago.
Really?
And I didn't really understand. So when I met you, I was in the health industry, and that business took off. And in hindsight, that was such a freaking powerful brand.
Right.
Like, I was just known as the celery juice girl.
Right.
I was a freaking celery juice girl. People thought gut health, this was before it was really big. They thought of like me, my former business partner, and like our business at the time, right? And I look back and we had gear and we had all the things, and it was like our tagline was like, let's fucking move. You know what I mean? Like, everyone was buying into it. And I look back and a lot of the success, without me even realizing it, was how powerfully branded we were, that people, and I think I saw this somewhere where if you're not in a room and somebody's talking about, you know, needing something and they reference you as the solution, you've built your brand, right? And that was what we had done. And so only about a year ago did I kind of find it in the space of marketing and branding, what I do now. And so much of it, and I'd be curious to see what you think about this, was actually being very loud and clear about who I'm not for.
Right.
Because there's one element of being like, this is what I stand for. But I had to get really clear, like, hey, if you want to sit on the beach all day and like take your laptop to the beach, first of all, sand, second of all, sun on your screen. It doesn't really logistically work. But anyways, that's what you want to do. Like, you're probably not my person. I genuinely want to be whiteboarding. I want to be soundboarding. I want to be in an environment that's easy for me to focus.
Yes.
Right? And so as I started calling that out, because I was attracting a lot of women who saw what I created, and they would want to work with me. And I looked at my Instagram at the time. I think I showed you this. And I'm like, why are all these women that don't want to work wonderful people, but they were triggered by me saying, well, this is like the rigor that you need to bring. Like, they were triggered. They didn't like that confinement. And I had to actually look, and I look at my Instagram page and I'm like, there's not a fucking picture showing me working here. I'm at a photo shoot. I'm at the beach.
Yeah.
Of course that's what I'm attracting in.
Yeah.
And so we switched, and now it only shows me like whiteboard, barbell speaking.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yes. And you attract what you show.
You attract what you show.
It's so crazy. And then your audience starts to shift. Oh, serious?
100%.
No bullshit? Tactic? I'm gonna get value from this individual. I gotta work, blah, blah, blah. Nobody's gonna come into my brand and be like, I'm lazy.
No.
Because they see what I deliver on my brand.
100%.
So if there is a lazy one, I ain't posting it.
Right.
Because I'm like, no, I'm not showing that. I don't want that type of person to come in.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like you can, that's the beauty about branding. Like nobody ever talks about this, but like, isn't it so cool how you can kind of mold and shift whatever you want to put and perception's reality?
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like you
100%.
create who you want to bring inside of your brand.
Right.
You know what I mean? You want more serious people, get more serious.
100%.
Like,
and bringing it back to what you said earlier, don't wait for permission to become the version of you that you want to become.
right.
So many people are like, well, I need the permission or the validation of that warm circle. When I pivoted from celery juice girl to, oh, now she cares about money, right? There was those stories. If I listened to those, I would still be, you know, I wouldn't be living my fullest expression.
Yeah.
Everything is a part of it, right?
Yeah.
Being an athletic director is actually a huge part of what I do now. Running the agency, it's like running teams.
Yeah, of course.
Same thing.
Yeah.
But to your point, there are going to be people who don't like your evolution or rebrand because sometimes it's a mirror to people not making changes in their own lives.
Yeah.
Or going for it.
I always say
Right?
this. Yeah.
And so I just want to encourage anyone listening or watching to not wait for that permission slip, like Daniel was saying earlier, from your warm circle, because one, you're not going to get it. And two, it's like, just go do the thing and your new people are going to find you.
Yeah, and then the old people, like, if you get it, it's like a bonus.
Right.
It's like, oh, wow, cool. But imagine you waited on it, you'll wait on a lifetime. Like, imagine you wait on somebody to be like, oh, I'm so proud of you, and you're waiting on that text. You might wait for that text for a fucking lifetime to be like, hey, man, keep going and encouraging. I said this on a live stream yesterday. I said, okay, I love that people always say go after your warm market because I get it. They'll reply back to you. But I said, you know, there's this saying on Instagram where they say your best friend should support your business. And I said, well, get the fuck out of business. Like, it's like, yeah, okay, should your friends maybe hit a like? Cool. If they're your friends, maybe they should tap a like. Do my friends got to come out to my events? No. You want to know why? Because that's not my ideal client.
100%.
A lot of my friends that I went to school with is not my ideal client.
100%.
I actually have no interest in my friends supporting my business. Zero. When I started sales training, I looked at all my friends. I'm like, none of these fucking people are in sales. I don't need you guys to support me because there's 8 billion people that I can figure out that are already in sales. I'm like, by me wanting support and encouragement, it's almost like I want pittiness inside of my business.
Right.
I don't want pittiness. I don't build a business for people to support me and to massage my shoulders and to be like, hey man, I support your business. I build a business so I can go solve a lot of problems, make a shit ton of money for them, make a shit ton of money for myself, and then go support my family.
100.
That's the way I see it. I'm like, I could give 10 fucks if my friends buy my products, to be honest with you. There's Instagram Live.
Right.
Yes, in the beginning, I used to think about that. I'm like, why aren't they buying from me? I'm like, first of all, they're never going to make you rich.
Yep.
So the 3 people supporting you is never going to be the mentality of making you rich. Even if all 3 people bought you $5K each, they're still never going to make you rich. You still need a bigger game plan than that. Yep. Nothing's going to do. I tell people, don't build a business off support, build a business off of value.
Yes.
You know, don't build it off support. Don't build your baseline off of support and encouragement, whether that's a text message or whether that's a best friend buying your product. Horrible business plan. Build your business plan by looking at what your offer is, what people, like who needs that offer, who's already in the marketplace shopping for that. Go figure out if you can solve their problem, exchange offer for problem, make the money, and then go support the people. And even some, it's crazy. You're going to support some people that didn't even believe in the beginning with the money that you make.
100%.
They're never going to think it's real until it's fucking real.
No, 100%.
Till it's real.
How many times were you asked, so Daniel, when are you going to get a real job?
Yeah.
Like I was asked that all the time.
It was never, still to today. Again, Melissa, I'll get back to my, you know, like my table at dinners and people be like, yeah, so like, you know, when are you going to like settle down and just really like, you know, like my grandmother told me to be a lawyer. Yeah. Like it doesn't, and you know, the beauty is it like when you could really just laugh, like you could just be like, oh, wow. Like that's the whole point, that they shouldn't see what you've seen inside a business or it's not big enough, you know, like your parents and your friends, again, they truly take you for who you were yesterday. So the time you spend in convincing people is the time you can spend in helping people, you know, like that's
that one land.
Yeah. Like I'm not going to try to convince you that I'm a new person.
Right.
Who does that?
Right.
Like that is already, that's why when we're on the subject of like going after the warm marketplace, if the warm marketplace takes you for who you were yesterday, you're now gonna try to have to convince them that you're somebody fucking new.
Right.
When in reality, if you are somebody new, you just go to your cold network, they'll be like, oh fuck, look at Daniel G. I don't know nothing about this guy. It is so much easier to go to my cold network because they don't know about all the fuck ups in the past.
Right. 100%.
They don't know about nothing in the past, and boom, they buy from me from who I am today. So 100%. The timing you spend trying to convince somebody that you're a new person, or I got this new business, or I got this new idea, that time you spend, you can go to the marketplace, promote brand, market the way you want to show up today. You just got to choose the way you want to show up today. And nobody knows about your past. That's why that's why I think branding, marketing, sales, it's beautiful because like the new people can't judge you for who you were in the past.
No.
They don't know who 100%.
You were.
100%. Right?
And yes, 100%. I mean, and it's also just, I think, this really powerful opportunity to learn to not give a fuck.
Yeah.
Because I will be honest, when I first started, I would be doing a Facebook Live and be like, who's watching? And like, I would notice if my friends were watching or my family. I would never notice now.
Yeah.
Nor would I expect them to. I'd be like, hey, this isn't going to serve you. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean? What you do, like you do this X, Y, or Z, like, you know.
Yeah.
And I needed, a former version of me, needed to feel that, to feel validation. And I think that's common, right? It was just part of my journey. And honestly, when you get to a point where you don't need anyone else to validate you, because the way I look at it, anyone who's watching, if you are seeking validation, every single time you do that, you're giving out like a piece of your power.
Yeah.
Like, hey, I want your validation, power. Hey, I want your validation, power.
Yeah.
Right? When you just hold all of that in and put it towards service, put it towards impact, putting it towards what you want to do, you are literally going to take off.
Yes.
Like you will be able to explode your brand power.
I agree with you. Yeah, it's like you just know you're going to be good regardless. So
That's your word.
Yeah, when you know you're going to be good regardless, you don't give people up your energy. So you're just not like attached. You're just saying like, oh yeah, I'm going to be good regardless. Doesn't matter. Like, and especially for the warm market, they'll never make you rich because you know your mother will never write you. I just want people to know this. The close people around you will never write you your biggest check.
No.
And those are typically the people that are crippling your business. You're not building it. And those people are the ones that are never going to pay you.
Right.
So like just on a logical format, not even emotional, here's a logical format. Your aunt's not writing you a check.
All right.
I just promise you. Like, and it would be cool. It would be cool. Like if you're in real estate, maybe. But also if you're in real estate, they probably want to see you go sell 50 homes. Be like, okay, now I can trust this guy.
Yeah.
So stop trying to convince yourself like, hey, now I'm a new agent, mom, dad, aunt, uncle, can you buy for me? Shut up, dude. They wiped your ass. That's what people don't understand. Like just go to the deepest concept. When people are like, go after your warm marketplace, you might be going after your aunt that's seeing your ass get wiped.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
She's seeing you born.
Yeah.
She is judging you from being a little baby born. Because that's the regular humans. They don't do personal development. They're like, I'm not going to judge this person for where they were yesterday. All they see was you getting your ass wiped.
Yeah.
My Zia, my aunt, still to today, she's like, shut up, Daniel. I've watched you being born. Doesn't matter how great I am at what I do.
Right.
Why would I spend my time trying to convince my aunt I'm something new?
Right.
There's somebody out there who's being like, Daniel, I need that guy.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, that's the reality of it. And I just gave one example.
Yeah.
So people can use that example and say, yeah, my best friend in university watched me sell weed with him.
Yeah.
My other best friend in college watched me do this with him in college.
Totally.
Shit, why am I trying to go after the people that already have the highest judgment towards me?
Totally.
Let me just go after people that don't know who the fuck I am.
100%.
That's the beauty about like sales, business, marketing, branding. I'm like, nobody knows. I just told you a whole story about my whole life.
Yeah.
Nobody that knows Daniel G has ever heard that before. Dude, you're a clown. You got YouTube. You got what?
Yeah. You do magic tricks?
Yeah, you do magic tricks. Like if you gave me a deck of cards right now, I will smoke somebody with magic tricks. And people be like, what? You DJ? Yes, give me 2 turntables and put me on the biggest festival stage in Tulum. I won't even have to, just give me 10 songs on one deck, 10 songs on the other deck. I will fucking vibe out. And the reason what's beautiful about this business is that it's so cool that you could draw that line and nobody would ever know.
No.
Like I could draw that line and I can open it up whenever I want to open it up. But I could draw that line and I could do that thing in my pastimes.
100%.
It's so cool being public because as public as you are, you can also be so private.
Well, I would offer that the private is that much more, and I'll use the word again, sacred.
Yeah.
Like I cherish the parts of me that are private.
Yes.
Because they're few and far between.
Correct.
Right? And I don't know, there's just something about it when like the world sees 95%, right? Or you're sharing 95%, when you have that 5% for just you or the closest people in your life, it like makes it that much more magical. You know, and sometimes people will say, well, I would offer this, I get this question a lot, is people will often say, do I have to show like, you know, I have to feel authentic showing up online, and they think that that means they have to give the play-by-play of their life. So if they're having a breakup with their boyfriend or their girlfriend, like they feel like to be authentic, they need to get on and give the fucking play-by-play.
Right.
And like, honestly, you need to ask yourself, is this on brand? Does it share value?
Help somebody?
Does it serve anything?
Right.
If not, no one actually gives a fuck.
Unless you're gonna say, I broke up, this is what I did, and this is why I broke up, and this is how I got better, and these were the steps that you could take, good, go share it.
But not the play-by-play.
Yes.
Because you got to get through it and learn something to actually be of value.
If you're just like, I just broke up with I'm being authentic, why aren't I converting customers? Because now they think you're a little bitch and they don't want to buy from you.
100%.
Or whatever you're trying to sell or promote, right?
Yeah.
So authentic just more so means, to me, it's like when you show up, align within yourself, meaning like, do you keep your own promises?
Yes.
Like, are you the person that you're showing up on this video to be like?
Right.
Like that's what I think the most important thing is. Like, it doesn't mean that, yes, we all have bad days, but I don't go on camera and show, I don't have to cry on camera.
Right.
Okay? Right. And also the beauty about it is like, well, if you're branding and marketing, you might have a bad 2 days inside of your business, but since you're a brander and marketer, number one, you could show up 4 times and wipe your tears off and still show up. Number one. Number two, you can have 4 pieces of batch content that you could still post. 100%. You know what I mean? So there's really no excuse. When I'm having a bad day, doesn't mean you still can't work. Work involves you editing your next reel and posting it.
100%.
So when you're in your highs, double down.
100%.
Like,
and
nobody talks about that.
We don't have time to necessarily get into that whole topic on this podcast, but that is a whole nother one. What we're going to have to do is like, you need systems.
Yeah.
To be a human, you need systems.
Yeah, it makes your life easier.
Yeah, because like you're going to be a human, right? Like you're going to, like life is going to life. It always surprises me when people are so fucking thrown off when lifes, like something goes wrong or a curveball and it just completely takes them out like they're surprised. Like, can we just expect that some curveball is going to come? Right. Something's not going to go as planned. Right. And just have systems in place to be able to navigate it. You know what I mean?
Like you know, when you're in your highs, double down. Meaning when you feel good, create another system, create another reel, do something, because there's gonna be a low period. And that's gonna service you through your low period so people won't know you're in your low. It's just like offset. Right. You know, like it's offset. I can disappear for 6 months. Right, yeah, now, for sure. Will people semi-know? Yeah. Can I still keep afloat? 100%, because that's what a business should do. Yes. Like I could still have content and post and do some things and service my current community that's buying from me and my cold community that doesn't know me. Right. I planned out both of those ways, right? So I think, yes, I think whenever you're feeling good, don't waste your feel good energy, which basically means like on those days where you're feeling the mojo, you got the mojo on you, don't create 1 reel, maybe create 6, you know? Because there was gonna be a day where you don't feel good. 100%. You know, and it's inevitable. When people watch me, I'm like, it's not if you're gonna hit the low, it's just how long you stay in it. And by having a system with your content, with your business, it actually gets you out of the slump because you're like, oh, wow, I'm confident. Even though I was in my low today, I was able to post. And your brain starts to recognize that. It gets you out the low a lot quicker when you have a system. 100%. You're going to hit the low.
Because you create some momentum.
Yeah.
Instead of just sitting there in it. You're like,
yeah.
And it's like,
and you have
like lifting a 5-pound dumbbell. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, I can do that. You know what I mean?
Correct.
When you're exhausted instead of trying to lift a 50-pound one.
Yes, you're gonna hit it. It's just how long you stay in it. I remember Tony Robbins once at the first seminar I ever been to. I was like 15. He said, everybody will cry in life. It's just how long you want to cry for. He's like, people that don't cry for a while realize that number one, they will cry. Number two, they give themselves a window to cry. He's like, I'll just be in the low for like 10 minutes. Give yourself, feel sad, go feel it. He literally does this in seminars, okay, feel it. And then boom, he knows how to get you out of it. He anchors it. But why was that so important to me? Because I said, most people that hit a low, they get shocked when it hits. And that shock feeling gets them in the low a lot more. Instead of the expectation, when you're gonna hit the low, you're like, okay, this was expected. Like it has to happen. So he was training on like, most people stay in their lows because of a state of shock, because they didn't think. And the moment you think that you're the only person going through that low, you're going to go a little bit lower because you think your
100%.
problem's unique. But if you
100%.
think your problem's not unique and it's not rare, you're going to go into solution mode a lot quicker.
Right.
Like it was supposed to happen.
Right.
Just like you being a millionaire, it's supposed to happen. Somebody quitting, it's supposed to happen.
Yep.
Like all these things are supposed to happen. Like the reality of business. I tried to tell business owners, oh, but this girl quit on me. That's supposed to happen.
100%.
Well, what do you mean? I'm like, yes, you could do things next time around that, will reduce people quitting on you, but you quit being a DJ, Daniel, to be a sales trainer.
100%.
You are a quitter.
Right.
So that's supposed to happen.
Right. I love that.
So like everything's supposed to happen. It's just, for example, success. When I say it's supposed to happen, it is supposed to happen if you work hard and if you solve problems, etc. But if you don't think it's supposed to happen, when it happens, you get shocked and excited, and that shock and excitement, boom, you lose your success.
Right.
Because you didn't think it was supposed to happen.
Right.
But if you thought it was supposed to happen, you're gonna go repeat it the next day. You're gonna be like, this was supposed to happen. If I work hard, if I have a good offer, I'm gonna go repeat it. Oh, somebody was supposed to quit. Oh, I was supposed to have a bad day. Oh, I was supposed to go through a breakup. You can get into solution a lot quicker. The shock is what kills everybody.
100%.
Right?
Oh, well,
This was fun.
This was so fun. Thank you so much.
And by the way, this is like, I want people to know that this was like free cuff between you and I. There's no question set up or anything like that. We could talk about marketing and branding for like 10 hours.
We just riff.
This was just the tip of the iceberg.
It's our brand.
Yeah, that's it.
We don't script.
That's it.
We're just staying on brand.
That's it.
Okay.
Whatever, I'm going to look into any camera, whatever Melissa has going on in terms of marketing and branding, and I really mean this, okay? I'm going to give my endorsement and my freaking approval right now, okay? I've watched this individual go from like a completely different 360, right? Like I've always been in sales, so it was kind of like, okay, that's the sales guy. But I've watched an individual like completely go from like 0 in one field to 100% in the other field. Why simultaneously people are holding back and being like, I need to be passionate instead of figuring out like, hey, what's gonna solve a problem and how do I market, brand, and promote that problem? So Melissa, not just for her clients, but is just a living example of what she does for her clients, not only for some of my clients, but hundreds of other people out there. So whether it's an event, a piece of social media content, a course, a program, a mastermind, you're actually learning from somebody that just didn't regurgitate something that they heard yesterday and they're just trying to show up on camera and do it tomorrow. But somebody that's actually gotten results doing it themselves, and not just with themselves, but multiple different clients in multiple different fields. So whatever she has going on, whether it's this, that course, program, show up, subscribe to Melissa, and we'll see you guys in the next one.
Daniel, thank you.
Done.
Thank you, guys.